Okay, most people think that improving at guitar is all about these, the long-term commitment and the years of practice and about making huge sacrifices, which is kind of true, sorry. But the good news is that there are a few simple changes that you can make today that will instantly improve your playing. And we're going to look at some of these today together. Number one is listen to more music and do it intentionally. Now, what do I mean by that? We often treat music like a background thing. It's something we play while, we work or study or cook or drive or whatever, and we're not actually listening. And I don't know about you, but when I was younger, it was an actual activity in my life to listen to music, to just, sit around, do nothing and listen to music. And I rarely do it anymore. I think as life is getting more and more overwhelming or busy, we just have this tendency to stop treating listening to music as an activity. So I want you to try this. Pick a piece or a song you already know and love and try to give it your full attention. Okay, sit around and do nothing else but listen to the music. And you'll probably notice details you have never heard before, like melodies and overtones and just little surprises here and there. Listening to music more intentionally can boost your musical skills so much, because all of a sudden you will start to hear things you might want to try, things that you might want to recreate in your own playing. And this is why it's important not just to listen, but also to watch recordings. So for example, personally for me, watching a live recording of a guitarist, a concert recording of a guitarist, and looking at their technique and hand positions can be so eye-opening. And naturally, if you pay a lot of attention of the music you hear, you will start asking yourself why they do things a certain way, and that curiosity will shape your own style over time. And here's the important thing. Copying isn't about losing your identity or sacrificing your identity. It's more about exploring the different ways something can be played, and from there finding the version that feels most you. Tip number 2, cut your damn nails. I'm serious, and I'm talking about the fretting hand nails, obviously. And this sounds silly, but boy does it matter. I've had so many students struggle at the start of a lesson, only to realize later on that they forgot to trim their nails. Long nails on your fretting hand force your fingers into awkward positions, and you'll have a lot harder time curling them properly, which means more muted strings, less control over your fretting technique, and just more frustration overall. And you might even start to adapt bad technique habits because of this, which is just always a pain in the ass to fix later on. Yeah, so keep your fretting nails really short, and if you have any nails, just go and trim them right now. It literally takes like 10 seconds or so. Just for reference, this is how short I try to keep mine, but the shorter the better. Tip number 3, change your strings. And I will never understand why some of you guys don't change your strings. It's a mystery to me. Why don't you change your strings? Why? It makes such a huge difference, yet so many people ignore to do this regularly. I change my strings every 3 to 4 weeks depending on how much I play, and that might sound like a lot, but once you feel the difference, it's just so hard to go back. The problem with strings is that they don't just go bad one day, right? It's not milk. They kind of like gradually wear out, so you don't even notice often how bad they have gotten. It's kind of like when you look into the mirror every single day, you don't realize that you're getting older until one day you look at an old photo and you freak out and you go, where the hell the past 10 years have gone? I'm not sure if that's a right analogy. What the hell am I even talking about? You know what, don't mind me. I guess I'm just having a hard time because my birthday is right around the corner. Yeah, so back to strings. Worn out strings feel sticky and they lose their tone, and they often have worse intonation than they had when they were new. They also become harder to control, and they just have this overall dull sound and feel to them. And I also think you have to work a lot harder for everything on old strings. While on the other hand, fresh strings feel smooth, they sound brighter and nicer and make playing so much easier on both hands. So yeah, just go and change your strings. It takes like half an hour or so. And it also almost feels like holding a completely new guitar, but costs a lot less than buying an actual new one. Tip number four, practice less but smarter. And this is my favorite low effort, high reward tip because you actually have to do less here. So you don't need to practice for hours to improve. In fact, shorter, more focused practice sessions are proven to be better. And there are several studies about the benefits of practicing less and in smaller chunks. And I will mention just a few concepts and ideas, but if you're interested, I also made a deep dive video on how practice works from a more evidence-based perspective. I will link it at the end of this video and in the description too. One of my favorite evidence to back this is how during World War II, a British psychologist named Norman Mackworth designed the famous clock test to measure sustained attention. And basically, people and participants had to watch a dot moving on a clock-like shape, and they had to spot when this little dot jumped unexpectedly, or skipping 1 or 2 marks on the clock, basically. And Mackworth found that after about 30 minutes, these participants' ability to focus on this task started to decline significantly, with even more noticeable reductions after 60 minutes. Now, more recent cognitive science research reinforced and took this further, suggesting that working in focused intervals of 25 to 45 minutes followed by short breaks can improve productivity and mental stamina. And this idea forms the basis of productivity techniques like, for example, the world-famous Pomodoro technique, which recommends working for 25-minute intervals followed by short breaks. So next time before you start practicing, just ask yourself what's one small thing you can work on in 10 or 15 minutes. Okay, maybe it's just going to be one chord change or a tricky bar chord section in a piece. It doesn't matter because not every session has to be intense or life-changing. And it's proven how small steps count, and they also add up. This last tip is a funny one because this is the most low effort tip I can give you, because you don't even have to be awake to do this. So my final tip is get good sleep. You probably didn't expect hearing this in a guitar educational video, but better sleep can actually help you play better. Now here's why. When you practice guitar during the day, your brain is encoding new information like finger placement and patterns and movements and rhythms and all sorts of things. But that's just the first step. Because while you sleep, especially during deep sleep and REM sleep, your brain starts sorting and organizing what you have learned, essentially. So it moves that info from short-term memory into long-term memory, basically turning what I just learned into what I know. Not to mention how sleep also improves your focus and helps with problem solving throughout your day. So you'll notice more, learn faster, and enjoy your practice more when you're rested. Like, have you ever tried to do anything productive with only a few hours of sleep in? It's painful, isn't it? So don't feel guilty about skipping a late night practice, because sometimes the best you can do for your playing is to go to bed. Now, I'm no science lady whatsoever, so I'm not here to tell you how to improve your sleep quality. But on a more personal note, I discovered something interesting that works for me. So for me, the amount of uninterrupted sleep matters a lot more than when I sleep. And I can be just as productive as a solid stretch of sleep from 2 a.m. to 11 a.m., as weird as it sounds. And that actually happened today, and I feel great. Now, before I let you go, if you have more to add to this list, stuff that require minimal effort but will bring almost immediate improvement, let us know in the comments. Yeah, let's talk about them. Let's share some good tips with each other. If you enjoyed this video, please consider supporting my work on Patreon. That would be really cool. And also check out my shop. Maybe you will find something you like. If you're looking for some more practical tips on how to improve on guitar, I recommend you my 11 exercises booklet, which you can find on Amazon or in my shop, depending on if you're looking for a digital version or a physical one. But I always work on new guitar educational materials and sheet music, so if you don't want to miss them, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And with that, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!